Are you currently creating or wanting to create animations based on vector graphics that you can put into your videos, your website, or in social media? If so, you need to use SVG images. SVG images can be very tricky. First, you need to know what kind of images to create, what kind of images to select if you're looking to get them off the web, and then you need to know how to manipulate them to get the best results in your animations. If that's what your goals are, you're in the right place now, because I'm going to show you in my tutorial how to create 8 animations, how to manipulate the images and then put them in Easy Animator Pro for animation to get great results. And this is all being able to be done yourself.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this tutorial. This is part 1 of a 2-part tutorial that's going to show you how to leverage your SVG assets in animation and get the most out of it, and see how simple it is to do the work yourself and create some very cool, unique animations that you can utilize in your videos, explainer videos, and websites or social media, all kinds of places that you can utilize this stuff, and it's not that difficult. So I thought first I would start out the tutorial by showing you an example, a few examples that I'm going to decompose in the tutorial so that you can learn how to create these cool creations. So first off, I'm going to give you a playthrough here and just enjoy. This first example that shows the gas pump with the animation of the money flying out of the pump head was based on a doodle sketch actually from Doodle Labs. So you can actually repurpose your doodle sketches and animate them in ways to just bring them to life, and it's very unique. You don't really see this kind of creation out there, and you can imagine now with the unlimited amount of doodles out there what the potential is. But there's some tricks to follow, and I'm going to explain some of those in the tutorial as we get a little deeper in, and so you'll see how to make the best out of this kind of creation. The second example here with the bicycle is very easy to do, and I created this one very quickly. In fact, this came from a free vector collection set, and I'm going to show you where you can source these kind of images for free, and also how to create this. And this was a simple creation to do as well. And this last example, the Tai Chi example, is also based on a free vector collection that I got, and I just used a little ingenuity inside Camtasia Studio, the video editor, combined with the animations that I did on a few of the images in a collection. And you'll see how that technique comes together as well. Again, very simple to do, and creates a nice new interesting way of looking at these kind of static images. So the focus of this tutorial is about how to get the most out of your SVG images for animation. You're going to see that there's all kinds of different styles and concepts to SVG images, and there's a good selection out there that you can use for animations. The question is, what kind of animations can I create? You know, this is where your ingenuity and the do-it-yourself aspect of you needs to come out in order to create some very interesting and fun creations. So I am going to, in the process, as you can see in the examples already, share some ideas on the kinds of things that you can animate. And then, you know, once you have your ideas and are aware of the scope of the kinds of things you can do, you need to know how to really prep the image if there's sometimes a little additional work that needs to be done with some tools out there like Inkscape or Adobe Illustrator, but you can use Inkscape, it's a free tool. And then once you're able to properly prepare the images, you can then bring them into a tool like Easy Animator Pro and create some very cool looking animations. And in that tool, there's a special feature to the technology or function called Break Apart, which allows you to add the sophistication to the animation, and it's being able to understand how to best use that and apply it in order to make your animation come to life. The reason why this tutorial exists because I really want people to be able to do their own creations. Yet there are solutions, and I'm going to show you where you can buy some done-for-you animated assets, but largely if you can do this yourself and without a lot of effort, that would be ideal. So we're going to be showing you how to do that work on your own. Now, let's not minimize how significant being able to use these kind of animations is, because you can use it to help support sales conversions in your pages that you build for selling things. You can add them as elements in your websites. You can post social media, little video clips, and have comments. There's lots you can do, and the coolest thing is being able to do this and create your own unique creations so that ultimately you're not creating Me Too type solutions. As we all know, there's many video editors out there, like Camtasia Studio and ScreenFlow, and these are the kinds of editors that we would use to modify and create our own custom creations or bring other canned stuff in. But there are also these other technologies like Video Maker FX, Explain.io, Video Scribe, and Easy Sketch Pro that have a lot of canned assets in there that allow you to do animations. What I'm trying to focus on today is to show you how you can create your own unique stuff and put it out there and be different and unique, and that's really what sells and helps people engage and connect with you. Just to be sure, I want everyone to understand why these animations feature SVG images or scalable vector graphics. First, they're very special because they compress very well. They're vector based, and so that means that they can scale and be resized and not lose any of their clarity. And every element inside these images can be animated. And again, the tricks come in to knowing what to do with the image in order to get it to shine for you in an animation. And there are free programs as well as products like Adobe Illustrator for editing SVG graphics. For most of the work that I've done, I've used either Adobe Illustrator or Inkscape, but you can also check out Gravit.io, and that's another one to check out. And then once we have our once we have our SVG graphic images ready, we can then bring them into a tool like Animator Pro and make the creation with the animation effects and make it shine. So a few more distinctions that will help us as we go along is that the SVG images can be animated, but in addition, you're going to see in Animator Pro that we can do text animations. And then when you can combine the two, that's where you leverage a lot of the power to be able to bring your own messaging and motion graphics and images to life. So this is going to be very powerful. And when inside Animator Pro, you're going to see that there's components and subcomponents. And again, this relates to how we construct it or set up our SVG images for use in the tool in order to make the animation really come to life. The animations can be done in 3 stages. The 3 stages or states are called in, pause, and out. And I'm going to demonstrate that to you in a moment. I've done this in a few of our previous videos, but it's important to see this at another level of depth, which we're going to show in this video. And for text's break apart features are at the level of lines, words, and letters. So the cool thing is you can take your SVG images and text and create a combination creation. Now I'm going to give you a brief anatomy of a completed animation so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about the different components and stages to an animation that exists. So let me just play this one here. Here we go. as you can see, there's many elements that go into this. So I'm going to just break it down for you and start and play and pause and just quickly walk through it. So right away, as you can see here, this is the in stage or phase of the animation effects, and as you can see, all the stuff is flying into the screen. So the process of coming on screen with all the assets is called the in phase. Now you're going to notice, I'm going to run this a little further. Now you see this is about the end of the in phase. See how nicely assembled the graph is on the left hand side with the elements that make up the chart of the graph and lines for text and boxes. This is an example of an already done for you animation element, and it's quite sophisticated, and it makes for like a beautiful piece. And then layered on top of it is a pen, which is also another completed piece, and to the right of it we have the nicely colored text. And so now this is the end of the in phase. I'm going to now let the middle phase run. Now you can see what was going on there. You saw the pen shaking and all the words kind of dancing on the right hand side. That's what's called the pause phase, or the middle stage of the animation. So you in the scheme of things, you need to set things there to define, you know, what effect you want, and then you're going to see the out phase come after this pause phase. So here's the out phase coming up. As you can see, everything starts to disassemble based on the animation effect we've described for the out or the exit of the animation. And you can see, if I just play a few frames, it went kind of quickly there, but as you can see, everything scattered and disappeared. In the example we just showed, you saw an animation that had a beautiful graphic with a chart and a pen and then some nice text words making a combination animation. The image that was used in there was something that was already created and nicely crafted. So the question becomes, you know, where can I find those SVG images that are fancy like that? What ones can I create on my own? And, you know, where do I get ideas? So not all SVG images are created equal. So we need to be sensitive to that and take that perspective when we look at and assess things. So again, I'm all for, you know, creating your own images, but if you see some opportunities where there's nice affordable assets or completed things to purchase that will make your life easier and it makes sense for your budget, then, you know, go for it. So now we're going to take a glance through some of these different resources for images, and I'm going to show you a few samples that I created, some animations with some images that were based from services like VectEasy, that website, graphicmama.com, VectorTunes, Icon Finder, and I've listed Shutterstock there because it's also a massive source for SVG or vector-based images, but you know, that's predominantly a pay site. And then the image that you saw in the last creation in the Shareholder concept featured one of those nicely put together SVG elements made by Animator.com. So let's dive in and take a closer look at some of these resources. Here I am inside the VectEasy.com website, which is just loaded with images and collections of images to use in our projects. So you would just find something that you want, and if you would see that there's all kinds of different collections, you know, all kinds of different beach scene stuff here. I just looked up summer and beach scene, and you can see there's, you know, numerous collections. So the first step after you find a collection that you like, you know, you may decide to use an individual image in there, the whole set, or just subcomponents of it. So we need to save off the file. When you save the file, you just click on the free download button, and then you're going to get an Adobe Illustrator file, which is known as a .ai file. You then will need to go into Adobe Illustrator here, and as you can see, here's that file opened up. But you then would decide whether you're going to work with the whole collection at a time, or one image, or a multiple number of images. In the example I'm going to show you in a moment, I used a bunch of the images, only a subset. But in order to utilize those, I would, copied out an individual image, put it here, and then I saved it off. And to do that, you need to use the file save as, and then choose SVG in the drop down, not AI, which is the file type that came in. You want to save it as an SVG. Okay, and I already have one saved. It's called Sun V2. Now we're in Easy Animator Pro, and I'm going to show you what we do. We just import that image. It's now an SVG file type. And as you can see, here it is. There's just one layer here, and there is the points to the sun and then the center of the sun. So because of the way this one was composed, and this is something you need to experiment with any images when you bring them in, is to see what levels of break apart there is. And remember, you don't want it to get too unruly, so that it's something that it's manageable. If I click on break apart here, we can see, so there's two layers now, which are the points to the sun. And then if I click break apart again, as you see now, it extended to 7. So in reality, we now have an image that has all the points separately functional, as well as the center. So, this gives a nice flexibility in animation. I'm playing with the different animation options, so I'm clicking, and you can see the different effects that are going on. If I click on whirl in and make it from a direction, you can see it's quite nice. Lots of different styles. So that's an example of utilizing the break apart quickly on an image that we managed to find it on the web for free, and then convert it to an SVG and bring it into Easy Animator Pro. Now I'm going to show you an example creation that I did with these the assets from this collection. So here's the example, and with a little sound effects added, you can get a nice feel for what the animation's about. In another example from vecteasy.com, I took this vector silhouette of the Tai Chi exercises. So I actually took 2 of the silhouette positions and then created an animation, which I'm going to show you right now how that looks. So we're just going to make this a little bigger. And you see that the position transitioned there, and then the out animation. To achieve that animation, I used an interesting technique I came up with. I used the horizontal pivot in movement that I applied to the first object, and as you can see, when he flips, he goes through a plane where he's actually 100% vertical, and then right there, and then I'm going to then would use the other gentleman image, which is this here man 2. I brought his image in, and as you can see that if I apply the same as you can see, if I apply the same animation motion, that the second guy also goes through the same spot, but as you can tell, he has a different position. So right where they cross over, I used the image of the second guy and brought it into Camtasia, and that's where you can see here in the design of my edit that right here, here's the first movie piece with the first one, and then it switches right over at the vertical position, and then the second image is brought in, and now you see the other pose, and that's how I did it. Quite interesting. Just a little technique. So imagine now being able to find all kinds of silhouette style examples, whether it be yoga or other things. You can do some pretty creative stuff and make your own animation. Before I leave VectEasy, I just wanted to show you one last collection, which is this one here, which is the people exercise sticker icons. And I'm showing you this example for a particular reason. As you can see, these icons have a yellow background, and then there looks to be an orange layer and a white layer. And you'll find that if you take an image in with all of that going on in the background behind the image itself, meaning the more brownish colored elements here, you'll find that it just won't really work out clean in Easy Animator Pro. There's just too many layers to confuse the eyes with consuming the image. So I'm going to show you how this shakes out. So I put this picture together to show you that when I took the image inside Adobe Illustrator, you can see here that the this figure here has a white background to it, and then there's other yellow layer, and you can just see, so that would be three layers alone. Just to be moving around in special effects would be just too crazy. So what I did is I separated out the figure that I wanted and just saved that element as an SVG file. And also note that the ball, if you really looked at it closely, it has these lines in it, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines plus the circle. So again, I made sure that that was a grouped item and it was one piece in an SVG file. So I'm just going to play the animation for you to see how that looks and how that turned out. So this is just to demonstrate that. So there's no noise in the background and just a nice lean, you know, figure with some motion. And also in the background there is I used one of the overlays in Easy Animator Pro just to add a nice effect, which just, you know, you can get creative. It's all a matter of what you want to do, and just put this out here to give you some ideas. Next up is the graphic mama site here that you see, and one of the animations I did was a creation that involved one of the freebies here. If you can see here, I'll just scan down. There's the bikes here, and if you recall at the start of this tutorial you saw a nice image of a bicycle with the wheels moving and it shaking along, and this is the source where I got it. This site is quite interesting because it also has a lot of vector creations, and you can see they're in different kinds of bundles. So you can imagine, like, let's go to Business Outline 101 here, 228 characters, all kinds of interesting stuff. And if you look here, look at all the different images and styles. So just imagine if you were to be able to add a little animation to these and what you could do to creatively pull together in a storyboard. I haven't played with these ones specifically because these are all pay, but a credit is about $4. So you can imagine there's different collections, and it seems like to be quite an interesting site, and I would suggest exploring this as one of your sites to check out for options. Next up is the vectortunes.com site. This site is truly incredible because there's really like thousands of images that are free. As you can see, as I scroll down, they have all these different collections, and you see the word free beside most of these, where it says price $10, then free, and then you can see I'm going through, there's lines and lines and lines of free, just continuously free, and there's all kinds of cool stuff in here. There's call outs you could work with. I saw some smileys, and here's the small animal collection is the one I used to create my little mouse animation that I posted in the site, and I'm going to show you that right now just as a reminder. So you can see here I took this, and again it was freely accessible, and I had to do some work, but it all worked out nicely. So take a peek. This looks really lifelike. So I used a combination of techniques in there, which included see, you can see that the mouse or mice are moving left or right a bit. That was through managing X, Y, and Z axes inside Camtasia, which is my video editor, but all the other movements are all done through Easy Animator Pro, and it just looks really cool. Okay, and then just the other reason why I mentioned this to show you is because there's a few other things to know about these images. First, back to the website. As you can see here, it says here that these are vector PDF files included. So this is the file type I use, and to use a vector PDF file, you need to open it up either in Inkscape or in Adobe Illustrator, and then, like we did before, save the file as an SVG file. Going into Easy Animator Pro, which is open here, and as you can see, I said right there Adobe Illustrator conversion, and there is the mouse. And now you have it to work with. If you click on break apart, it'll create all the layers, and you can see in this case it created about 15-16 layers. But this gets a little more challenging. Although the finished product looks great, you need to be careful because there are many layers. So you want to simplify your solution. As you can see, here's one, it's an outline, and here's another one, you can't even barely see that, it's just the white shadowing on the outside. Then I'm going to pull another layer, there's just like highlighting on the feet, and then there are the whiskers there, those are fine, it doesn't look like there's any other detail breakdown there. But there's also this shadowing, so you can see I actually go in and I remove a lot of these layers because I don't want them, I don't want it to be too sophisticated, and I simplify things down. And that's if you go through the process, you'll continue to find all the detailed components and elements and what you want to keep or not, and what you don't want you can just get rid of. So you do all this work before you start to apply the animations, and then as you can see here, I have a cleaner, simpler looking type solution without all the dressing up, but still has quite an amazing impact with the animation. So far I've shown you several of the sites where you can get either free or pay images to work with and bring in. So those are created assets that you can use, but then you need to modify and adjust in order to bring them into Easy Animator Pro to use. And I just want to, before we move on, is refer to one of my other videos where I actually created a lower thirds that was done from scratch. So this was designed by myself and put together. So as you can see, this is a slide showing inside Easy Animator Pro with just the different components. There's a few little squares turned on their side as diamonds, and a few rectangles, and then and some writing put in for animation's sake inside Easy Animator Pro. So this animation I'm going to show you now. So here's my lower thirds animation. It's an MOV file. This is the finished version of it after being exported from Easy Animator Pro. It's on a black background because it's a transparent or alpha channel MOV file, and I use this in anything that I want, and it's just it acts like an overlay. So as you can see, this one again I supplied to remind you of how this was built from scratch, and I have a separate video that was dedicated to the full creation of this. The last resource I wanted to tell you about is Anibits.com, which is a resource from the creator of Easy Animator Pro. He's created all these packs of Anibits, he's called them, which have different themes, and each one has 25 Anibits in the collection. So for example, if we went over and we looked at fitness and workout or tutorials, or let me just choose something more interesting, let's say online marketing Anibits, how's that? So as you can see here, there's a bundle down below here of all these different assets, and these are static SVG files that you can then pull in to Easy Animator Pro to any kind of animation you want. See, there's some nice social icon based elements for marketing and search elements, and all of these nicely animate inside Easy Animator Pro. And an associated resource is the Animated Web Concepts product that's currently for sale, and in there you will find that there's all kinds of cool animations and static versions as well. The bundle has really two components. First off are all kinds of SWF and MOV files that are pre-made animations that will work in tools like Video Maker, FX, Easy Sketch Pro, Explaindio. But in addition, you're going to see, like, look at these are just beautiful, nicely ready-made animated designs, and there's a whole bunch of files. And so there's those, all kinds of different designs, static image versions of them in PNGs and JPEG formats. There's computers, laptops, all kinds of designs, and their static counterparts. But the coolest part is in this bundle and offering is the actual modules down here, which are actually Anibit bundles, which the elements down here are from the Animates Bundle 2 from the creator of Easy Animator Pro, Scott Hamlin. And you can see there's finance and web concepts, so there's SWF and SVG formatted files, and the SVG files are the ones that we need to use inside Easy Animator Pro. So there's lots of interesting categories here. There's food and dining, security and web, camping, and you get all of these. This is a great set here. this one here for photo and video web concepts, sports and recreation, gardening. So all of these can be used inside Easy Animator Pro, and this whole package, including all the assets you see here and these bonuses, is just, I think, $17 or $19, so it's very affordable. But again, these are pay assets, and it's entirely up to you. I'm just, as the purpose of what I'm doing is to show you what's out there, not specifically tell you what to do, because that's your decision. So I just wanted to share those assets with you and resources, so now you know where to go to start to look for interesting products to help you build out your animated solutions inside your videos.
So in this tutorial, you learned how to find SVG images on the web, create them on your own, and how to manipulate them to get the best results in the animations that you create. In fact, you can see it's not that difficult for do-it-yourself projects. In the next tutorial, number 2, part 2 in this series, I'm going to dive deeper into some additional examples and show you not only how to create a few additional animations, but also certain things to avoid in selecting your images. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions about SVG images and motion graphic animations, or how to approach the whole subject so that you can succeed in doing things with a do-it-yourself mentality, please leave your questions below and I'll do the best that I can to answer them. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please do so that I can bring you more videos like this in the future. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.